Hey guys, welcome back to Fresh and Weekenders YouTube channel. Today we're here at home and we're recently returned from our 5-night cruise aboard Margaritaville at Sea Islander. And that puts us in the unique situation where we are one of the few people that have actually sailed on both Islander and Paradise. So if you want to know what the difference is between the two Margaritaville at Sea ships, then you're in the right place. Make sure you stick around, check it out, hit that subscribe button, and let's go.
Let's go. Are you sure we're one of the few people that have done that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure, like, you know, more people have done this than walked on the moon, but there's not, like, all right, so first off, let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room, meaning the size of the ships.
Oh my God.
When it comes to size of the ships, obviously the Islander ship is a little bit larger than the Paradise ship. If you want like a smaller, more intimate type of cruise, you know, Paradise may be for you. Islander is definitely more like a modern style ship, but I would not say it's like of the new age modern where it's ultra massive. It's still relatively, you know, it's still manageable. Plenty of things to do on either ship, but definitely Islander is a bit larger.
I think Islander is just enough space on the ship to where for the duration of that cruise, you're not going to get bored. I feel like the size of ship that Paradise is, more than 2 days, you're going to know where everything is, and it's going to get a little boring.
Continuing with the ships, let's talk about the age of the ships. So Islander was more recent, I would say, of that modern era, built in 2000. So, you know, part of the new millennium. Paradise, however, is a bit older, and I believe it was 1990. So it doesn't sound like a huge difference being 10 years difference, but I can tell you it's night and day difference.
Yeah.
You know, think about how much has changed in the new millennium, you know, as far as, you know, just the internet and the way that's changed society overall.
Right. But
it's the same thing within the cruise industry. The older 1900s style of cruising, you know, 1990, was just vastly different than what it is now. So the expectations were different, the sizes of the ships were different, the amenities were different, the activities were different.
Right.
And it just doesn't really fit in with what you would expect going on a modern cruise today.
You can tell when a ship is older, maybe when the upkeep wasn't done previous to maybe Margaritaville taking over. So for example, we noticed on Paradise, there was just some noticeable misses, a little bit more rust on the board, a little bit more, you know, damage to, you know, like the floors and things like that. Whereas I would maintain that Islander could maybe rival some of those ships, the older, you know, style ships with like maybe NCL or Norwegian. And
kind of rolling that, you know, the age of the ship into the amenities of the ship, you see similar comparisons here. On Paradise, the onboard pools were quite a bit smaller. There was less of them. On Islander, they had more pools. They were larger, kind of more, again, aligned with what you would expect. Islander had many more activities to do on board. They had, you know, putt-putt and, you know, mini golf. They had beanbag toss. So they both had pickleball. Islander has a water slide. Paradise does not have a water slide. So I feel like both ships had plenty of places, plenty of different lounges and things where you could hang out.
Grab a drink.
But yeah, it just felt like everything was better on Islander. Kind of also what we were saying with the age too, the Paradise did not have any balconies, and all of the rooms, including like the buffet, felt kind of dark because there weren't floor to ceiling windows, there weren't walls of windows, there was portholes, and even in the buffet it was a large porthole, maybe the size of a door. But, and, you know, because of that, everything felt very dark and very old.
Much more enclosed,
Islander felt very much more open and airy and, you know, bright, and what you're looking for when it comes to a Caribbean style cruise.
So I will say, comparing the two ships, I think on Paradise, they took the renovations just far enough to get it themed to be Jimmy Buffett, but there was definitely still some of those Costa America kind of vibes. For example, whenever you would press the elevator button to go up or down, it would speak to you in Italian. I don't think we had any, I don't think they talked to you at all on the elevators on the Islander, but
no, yeah, they did. They did. Somebody commented it sounded like a Southern voice.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
At least it was English.
So yeah, exactly. So I think with Islander, they actually took it from 0 to 100 to, you know, integrate as much as they could with Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville at Sea. Whereas Paradise, I think they just did enough to kind of get by.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on Paradise, if I remember, the theater was still kind of very much Italian themed.
Yeah, a very alfresco kind of vibe.
Yeah, you could still see the C of the Costa logo up on the smokestack. Definitely with Islander, I felt like they did quite a bit more to make it feel like their own. Now, there were still some older touches you could tell, like the banisters, the hand railing and stuff, you know, going up and down the stairs that I'm sure that they didn't touch, but it actually fit well, at least with the theming, and it didn't feel out of place, quite like some of the older stuff that you saw in Paradise. So
next up on our list, let's talk about destinations. So if you're cruising on Paradise, it is West Palm Beach to Freeport and back. So I'd say it's a 3-day, 2-night cruise. You get on Friday, you are there all day Saturday, and then you're cruising back Saturday night and you're back in port on Sunday. So it's a pretty quick weekend cruise. I would compare that to maybe more of like a booze cruise. You're just going to get on the boat, have some drinks, maybe get off in the Bahamas and then get back on the boat, right? Work on Monday, sort of kind of thing. With Islander, it's definitely more of a, what I would consider a traditional experience with a cruise line. So if you are cruising on Islander, the cruise ports will hit, you'll leave Tampa, hit Key West, and then Cozumel, and they're looking to expand that to, I guess, Progreso, Honduras, and Belize as well. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they're actually expanding both cruise lines. So there's one good thing about Margaritaville at Sea. They have caught a lot of criticism from various people. I know a lot, particularly on the Paradise side. I think we were probably one of the few people that gave a positive review of that ship. Mostly for the price, and we'll get into that in a minute. But they are expanding both the itinerary on both ships. So yeah, as you mentioned with Islander, they're going to be adding, they already have Progreso and Cozumel. They're going to be adding Honduras as well as Belize starting in 2025.
Nice.
And that'll be cruising anywhere from 4 to 7 night itineraries. And then on the Paradise side, they have the 2-night to Freeport. They've also added a 2-night to Nassau. So they've heard that criticism as well. You know, there's definitely more to do in Nassau than in Freeport. And they've also added a 3-night option, I believe, to both of those stops as well, which basically gives you an extra day at sea. So that way you have some time to experience the cruise ship. That was one of the things that we noticed on our Paradise itinerary, was that it was basically 1 day out, 1 day there, 1 day back. You really didn't get time to explore the whole ship. Now, luckily, it's a small ship. There wasn't really a ton to do anyway, so I didn't feel like we needed that extra day. But if you're looking for some rest and relaxation, I'm sure that extra day will come in handy, give you some time to chill out by the pool and maybe turn the cell phone off and, you know, disconnect from work.
What's that like?
Now that we've talked about the destination and the duration of each ship, let's talk about the price. So as we mentioned, one of the things that we really liked about Margaritaville at Sea Paradise was the price.
Time out. If you know anything about Lewis, he likes a bargain. So let's just put that there. Well,
yeah, you think about value. So if they're offering cruises starting from, you know, I think we paid $79 for the first one that we've done. I've seen them advertised as low as $50. If you're part of the, if you're a veteran, you can get it basically for free.
Yep.
You know, they still tack on, you know, taxes and fees and port charges, and you got to pay parking and a few other things. You know, so our $79 cruise on Margaritaville at Sea Paradise came to about $400. We're talking about for 2 nights for 2 people. That includes all of your food and all of your entertainment, your lodging. That's basically $200 a night. You can't really even get a hotel in the United States for that price.
A decent one, at least.
Right. So I think it's a really good value still.
Providing you manage your expectations.
Yeah, exactly. So don't go on Paradise expecting it to be the exact same as Royal Caribbean, when Royal Caribbean you spent $3,000 on, and Margaritaville at Sea you're in there for, you know, like $80 or whatever it is. Okay. And on the other side with Islander, our original itinerary with a balcony cabin came to about $1,200 for the 2 of us for a 5-night cruise. So again, you're a little over $200 per night. Yep. But I think it's a really good value with all that you get. Again, your food, your lodging, your entertainment, all included. Still so much cheaper and a much better value than if you were to book on Norwegian or Royal Caribbean or something along those lines. All right, so next up, let's talk about Jimmy Buffett.
Bless.
Obviously, these are Margaritaville at Sea cruises. You expect a certain amount of Jimmy Buffett-ness, parrot heads, you know, 5 o'clock, you know, they want their margarita, they've lost their salt shaker, you know, all those references.
Sounds like a personal problem, but whatever.
Stepped on a pop tab, you know.
Pop top, Lewis.
It's a pop tab.
Sits on a pop top.
Stepped on a pop. What is it? Well, it's a stepped on a pop top. Yeah, but it's a pop tab. It's a tab when you pull it off. It's a pop top can. You know, when you look at the flip flop, the lost flip flop or broke his flip flop. There's flip flops not broken. I don't know, whatever. But anyways, there's a lot of Jimmy Buffett margarita kind of theming.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I felt like when we rode on Paradise, they really kind of beat you over the head with it. It's constant. I don't think they played any songs that weren't Jimmy Buffett. And, you know, not that we're Jimmy Buffett haters. We're just not Jimmy Buffett fans. We're kind of neutral on him. He's okay. But yeah, just on Paradise, there was a lot of it. And
so much so that they actually had a projection of like all of his concerts playing on loop. It was a lot.
There was a lounge completely dedicated to just past Jimmy Buffett concerts.
Yes.
So if you wanted to sit in there and just watch old concert footage, there was a whole lounge for that.
Just for that.
Now on Islander, on the other hand, they had that as one channel on the TV.
Yes.
So if you don't like it, change the channel. On Paradise, if you don't like it, you don't go to that lounge, and there was nobody in that lounge. Yeah, and then with that being said too, like that 5 o'clock somewhere song, it's a good song, but you don't want to hear it on repeat 30 times a day for 3 days straight. And when we left Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, I felt like it was always on, just constant.
Can't get away from it.
Yeah. On Islander, they played some other songs, some more modern songs, different genres as well. There was some, there was some rap, there was some country, there was some rock.
Yeah.
You know, various different things. You know, with some Jimmy Buffett mixed in there. And I thought it was just the appropriate amount.
What rap song did you hear on that boat?
There was. I can't. I'm not real big on rap, so I can't tell you. But R&B or whatever.
Okay.
There was hip hop. There was some hip hop.
Okay.
So definitely thought that the Jimmy Buffett theming was turned down a little bit on Islander to an acceptable level.
Now don't get me wrong, there were still plenty of opportunities for you to see the slogans or the catchphrases, or to see the parrots, or to see the plane, or the sitting on a porch swing or something like that. It was definitely there, so you're not going to necessarily get away from it. But I think it was a little bit at a much more tolerable level, to where, while it's still all of your five senses, right, you're not getting drilled in the brain with 5 o'clock somewhere. Final
thing on our list, let's talk about entertainment.
Yeah.
So the entertainment on Paradise, I felt, was not quite as good as Islander. Nothing against the entertainers. I'm sure that they do a fantastic job, but the shows themselves, they weren't really well choreographed. It's kind of like watching like a high school musical. There wasn't a lot of production value to them. Maybe just like sort of like a variety show, but actually on Islander, it felt a lot closer to what you would expect from a traditional cruise. You're not going to get Broadway at Sea like we've seen from Norwegian, which honestly I really love that, and I think they've gotten rid of it anyways. But that was fantastic. Right. But you're going to get, there's the traditional magicians and comedians, as well as a song and dance show that had a little bit more variety and choreography associated with it, higher production value. It was actually entertaining to watch, versus on Paradise, just did not really enjoy it that much. Yeah, I slept through it. Yeah, so in addition to shows and entertainment, if the show says for 18 plus, so please adhere to that, because let's just say it got a little exciting on the Islander. Yeah, absolutely. They play that same game show that they play on, it seems like, we've seen it from Norwegian, we've seen it from Royal Caribbean, the adult themed game show. Yeah. And things do get a little bit out of hand from time to time. A little spicy sometimes, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, and that's, I guess, we kind of talked about things that we liked and things we didn't like about Islander. Because there's no app and people are looking at paper paper itineraries. We talked to a family that showed up to the adults thing with their children because they looked at the paper from the day before and thought that it was family karaoke night, when in fact it was the adult game show night. So rude awakening. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. But again, if they had an app, then you would know, like, okay, this is actually what's happening today. So make sure to check out our last video where we covered what we liked and what we didn't like about the cruise ships. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the comparison between the two ships. Now we have one last special announcement to make on this video, and that is that we've actually already gone ahead and booked our next cruise with Margaritaville at Sea. and it'll be again on the Islander. Because we lost 1 day off of our last cruise due to the hurricane, totally understandable. Margaritaville has actually gone above and beyond. Not only did they give us a $150 credit to use on our last cruise, but they also gave us a 50% off of booking of our next cruise. We've gone ahead and we've booked another cruise for the end of next year. Really looking forward to that. It'll be on Islander. So we've tried to get the most value possible out of our 50% off. As she said, I love a good value. So we've booked a 7-night cruise, which includes two stops in Mexico, one in Honduras and one in Belize.
Yep.
And we've also booked what I think is personally the best room on the cruise ship, and that is the corner view balcony suite. So this room typically goes for over $10,000 for a sailing like this, and we managed to snag it for just $2,400 all in.
Lewis tells me that's the only time I'm ever going to be in a suite, so I should enjoy it.
Yeah, quite possibly, yes. And again, you talk about that value proposition. We're just over $300 a night on something like that. So really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great value. That room is huge. They do have one more suite level above that, but again, that's kind of more themed towards Jimmy Buffett. And I think it's a smaller room, honestly, just more themed. I don't remember the name of it, but each room has a different theme based on a different Jimmy Buffett song. I can't even name maybe more than 2 songs, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I think the corner view balcony suite is the better one. It has a larger balcony, and I'm really looking forward to staying there. And it also comes with the typical suite perks. We're going to be able to check in early and fast. We're going to get access to the concierge lounge, which really isn't much, but we get free soda there.
Oh.
And we get to eat in the Islander dining restaurant again. So if you book a premium extended balcony or better, you get to eat in the Islander dining room, which is kind of literally elevated over Finn's dining room. It's the next level up, but also has a little bit of an elevated dining menu and a couple of extra options. So you get Finn's menu plus a little bit more. Definitely looking forward to that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to follow along and see how that cruise goes.
So up next, we're going to talk about the food, comparing that to Islander versus Paradise. So I will say the food at Islander is slightly elevated over Paradise, but I still would not say this is the best culinary experience you're ever going to have, right? I found that the food on the Paradise was just a little like, you get what you get and you don't complain. Whereas on Islander, it was, I think, a little bit better presented, and there was definitely options. I just will maintain, like we talked about in our last video, what was served in the main dining room was also served at the buffet. So if you didn't like what was served on that night for dinner, you probably were stuck with just pizza or maybe a salad. So there you go.
The food on Paradise, I think it was all edible. It was all fine. Nothing really to write home about too much.
Yeah, it was okay. I just remember being just okay.
I wasn't disappointed.
Right.
Again, you talk about that price point. You get what you get, and it's not too bad. But yeah, on Islander, I did like nearly everything that we ate there. I thought the food on Islander was really good. Yeah. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for today. Let us know in the comments below if you've sailed on both ships. What are your preferences? Is there anything that we missed talking about? Anything you want to add? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. And with that being said, we're out of here, and we'll see you next weekend.
Bye. If you're going to be in the video, you got to sit. You sit. 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 All right.
Few tens of thousands. When you talk about 8.5 billion people in the world, like how many people?
Okay.
So I guess we're not getting started yet.
Work with your spouse, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Murder's gonna happen today.
Crimes. So while they say it's a 3-night, 2-day, 3-day.
You're gonna have to get her out of there.
No, she's fine. She wants to be on the video. She's fine.
Okay. Hip hop and not. There was hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.